Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So, obviously clearly got confused as to what days were what, and somehow, missed the entire winter time here. So, yeah. It's just gonna create a bit of a problem here. Just a bit. So, I'm going to want to go ahead and get everything removed sometime today, which I think I'll be able to do. But I want to at least get probably a couple loads out here right away, because I'm kind of at the point I was just going to check, and I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be January. Yeah, obviously it's not. So I may actually have the problem. That's part of what I'm going to need to go check too, but I'll worry about that after I get a load out of each silo, so at least they're fully operating. But I unfortunately might need to mow today too. Then I probably have a situation that that's not going to happen. And if that's the case, I don't know. Just life's going to get interesting. How about that? So clearly, the world's getting a bit busy on me. So I know folks have had challenges. You know, we've had people drop out who are like, yeah, I can't keep up. I'm not at that point, but I'm definitely getting busier, so I need to pay attention. But I'm thinking May, June, July, yeah, because I think April, I'm almost positive. So, I mean, I might be able to do it. The challenge is, like, I can empty the silo, but I have all that stuff to create. Like, this is going to toss me off a bit in general, because at this point, I'm selling at 170. That's what it was at, so it's not terrible, but certainly it's kind of just average. So I definitely am leaving a little bit on the table that I could have avoided. So, like I said, I can't really explain it other than I clearly lost track of things and was somehow thinking, and I think part of the problem was the fact that I wasn't publishing these videos in real time anymore. I shouldn't say anymore, but at that point, I was using them to fill some of the farming simulator space on the channel, and I think that's what messed me up, because I'd look at the video and be like, oh, I did a video like 2 days ago, so I'm fine. And it somehow slipped my mind that, yeah, that video was probably posted 2 or 3 days before that. So that, I think, is what ended up being the problem, because at this point, I think I would have, like, I've waited 6 days or something, where I thought I had waited maybe 3. So I can't go back. I can't fix it. And I think some of it was, yeah, trying to get the VIP series done. That was really what was top of mind for me this week, because I had already missed the 1 week. If you haven't caught up with that, it is operating again. I basically skipped a week because I was waiting for some feedback, hoping that I'd get some votes coming in of do this, but didn't, and was like, well, obviously I'm not going to get responses at the pace yet that I was hoping. So for anybody thinking about running a channel, 780 people aren't enough to get feedback in 3 weeks. So just keep that in mind. So I obviously probably need to have thousands before I can really do anything other than just provide content, I guess. I keep trying to get some interactivity going with the audience, but it hasn't taken off yet. So I'm hoping at some point I reach some tipping point where people get excited and engaged, and we get a bigger audience to look at things. So that's a good reminder if you haven't liked this video, because it's giving you good information or you're just enjoying it in some way, shape, or form. I would appreciate if you do that, and also more importantly, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, would love to have you join as a new subscriber. Helps the channel spread and keeps people notified and so forth. So trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber magic number. That's kind of the next milestone, now that we've passed 500 a little while ago, but moving along there. So hopefully we can get there soon, and maybe that's the point where we get a little more notice. I'm not quite sure how all the back-end YouTube stuff works. So yeah, I'm honestly just, rather than spending time driving around my field, I'm trying to get these done. Like I said, I want to get at least 2 loads out of each silo, so that'll give 70,000, which is almost a half day, which is kind of what I would need before I can really get back on for a good length of time later tonight. And then maybe I can get stuff done there. And then I'm trying to figure out, though, if I do that, like when do I mow? Because I'm almost positive, like, I'm kind of scared to go look, because I'm pretty sure I need to do that, because I just spent several hours on my other farm, my main farm, getting my crop off the field, which was important, and I'm not done there. I've still got to get straw done. So what I was hoping is, I was coming in here, it's December, January, I'd run a few loads out of the silos, maybe even spend an hour doing that, get me plenty of room to get the silos running, and then maybe come back tomorrow and do the rest of it, and then I empty the rest of the silos and go from there, and not even thinking that I would have any mowing or something to worry about, because the challenge will be, I'll have to mow, I'll have to fertilize. Like, again, fertilization doesn't have to happen the same day, but it's just really messed me up. So yeah, I'm trying to think through, because at this point, like, obviously the key thing would be at least getting the grass mowed. Getting it picked up is secondary, but what this ultimately is going to create is a whole cascading cycle of inefficiency, because right now I'm going to need to empty these silos earlier this year than I normally would have, because I'm not starting out with them empty in the spring. They were full, they were stopped, they were waiting to produce more silage. Don't roll out. Alright. And there's like 300,000 liters in each one, which is like another 2 days. So like, I'll be able to do probably 2 harvests before I reach capacity. But I don't know that that's even actually true. Well, I mean, it is, because I can sell the silage whenever I have it, but that becomes the challenge, is basically the next pieces of silage are going to sell at a loss, probably, because they're going to have to sell in midsummer, I think. I don't know. Because just emptying this, it's going to be half full when it reprocesses. So the intent normally would have been, like, I would have come in at the latest in December, emptied out enough, like half of it, to get things done, and then January, February would have processed the rest, and then February I would have emptied everything, and then we would have started March fresh. But so a lot of lamenting, I'm sorry. So not terribly exciting commentary, because it wasn't what I was expecting. So you can feel my disappointment in real time. So this should get me right around, real close to 650 here. and then I'm gonna drive over, see where I'm at, and figure out, you know, once we all know together whether today's a mow day. Because my problem is if I don't mow today, I think I just throw all the cycle off. Although I suppose I could mow tomorrow. I mean, it's just because what ended up happening is I harvested and I did my last mow in October. And then I think that's what gets me to the point here where I can be ready to go, unless somehow I was ready in March. But I don't think that would have been the case. So let's head on over here. Alright. Yep. It is ready. Because basically if I mow today, again, it's because I'm doing only 3 a year. That means May, June, July will be the next one, and then August, September, October. If I push it another day, everything slides, so then I basically would be in August and November, which I can do. Let me go around, because climbing out of here, it's just, it's a tough one, so I'll come around and fill up here. So I'm going to get a little bit more done, because I can certainly come back in tonight and do some more. I'm not in urgent need of picking up the straw in Hobo's Hollow, so I'm thinking out loud here as I'm just working through this. You know, I've got enough straw, I can keep things going. It's already cut, it's laying on the field. You know, at this point, it's July over there. I don't plant till next spring. Like, I've got time on the regular farm. I just need to keep the cows going and so forth. There was some other work I could potentially do, but it's not critical. I mean, this definitely is the more critical of the bunches. But I think my problem is, so let me think this through, because if I have October again, then I need three days till I'm ready to harvest again. Because I'm wondering if I'm basically stuck in that cycle. Because I think being done in October, it would have been November, and then basically you sit around, and then March and April. Like, if I don't cut the last one, I think I'm then stuck in May. I don't know that I can get out of a different cycle, which is not terrible. Because in the end, that's part of what caused this problem, is like when I was done in October, like I couldn't come and do anything. And what I mean, I didn't want to sell yet because I could get a better price. Frankly, I think the price in October was like upper 170s, so it would have been better if I had sold then than what I'm getting now. But yeah, what I think it creates, and that's what I'm trying to kind of get my head around, because if I could wait till tomorrow to mow, and then just kind of be on that cycle where it's May, August, November instead of April, so forth. Then I am, just having to sell. It's just the question becomes, do I have enough? It's just, I think what I have to do if I do that is I have to mow and then sell that same day, sell some in November, because I think I'm absolutely going to be full. Because that was the issue. Like, when I came in October, the silo was already full. And then that's what I had to do to go ahead and let it continue processing, was sell some, but then I didn't, and I was like, I'll be fine. And I would have been normally. although it would have been tight, so I'll have to figure that out. Because the problem is, I mean, I could one day, I could like basically cut early and cycle it back. But the problem then is I'm not getting as much off, so it just is all bad. Ooh. So like I'm not thinking there's a problem if I delay, and what I may end up doing is just like trying to cut today. Because the thing is, like the reality ends up being I'm tight on time today. But if I cut and then sell and then kind of ignore the other farm, that obviously lets me take any time I have, where initially tonight I was going to go back and collect the rest of that straw, which is probably still going to take me an hour or two at least. And I just say, no, I'm doing that here, because I think mowing isn't too bad. It's just it's the collecting that takes longer. I think the mowing can get done in an hour, hour and a half. So I should have enough time to do that. And then at least I'm on cycle. Like if I don't pick things up, it's not like it's going to matter. So I think that's going to be the plan. Now that that just seems better, and then I'm not compromising of delaying a day and doing nothing here other than that. Because at this point, you know, I'm in pretty good shape with most of these. I've got 100,000. You know, I probably do a couple more. I'll have plenty, but I don't even know that I need to worry about that right now, because I'll be back in less than 12 hours, and at this point, the 70,000 should have cleared me up, and at this point I'm like at 105,000. And some of the silos, I think the silo number 2 over there behind me to the left, I think I've emptied a couple extra loads, certainly one extra load than the others, so that one may be up at the 140, which is a full day. But my point being, like, I'll have enough room, because this will be processing now. It'll clear things up. I'm not going to get more than 300,000. I really just need 50,000 to process out, which will probably happen before tonight. Then I'll have enough room to get the grass in if I needed to, but I'm not going to have the grass in likely tonight, because I'm just going to mow and then try to sell as much silage as I can to get the best price I can. So I think that's going to be the plan. So obviously, you know, same type of thing as the videos. I mean, here for generational farming, you're watching me do the job I need, which right now is this. I won't go ahead and torment you with mowing in the dark, because that's what it'll be. But I will. The plan is that's what I'm going to do. You know, best laid plans, you know how that goes. Stuff could fall apart. But if I do that, because yeah, I mean, I've got to run, like here it's, you know, 565,000, so it's close to 15 loads for each of these silos. So I've got to do like 45 loads to get everything done that I have fermented. And then, as I said, there's more grass in there to get processed, and obviously then I'll be throwing more in, but I won't be throwing more in until tomorrow, which will be fine, because this silo can't process everything that's in it, assuming I keep it clear, which is my goal by selling all the silage. It's going to be 2.5 days. So we're going to be basically into the next cut before everything that's sitting in the silo right now, let alone what I'm putting into it, is going to be done with. So I think I'm going to be chasing my tail until the winter, but if I at least get the mowing done, I'm not in this situation, because I think the challenge that I'm struggling with is if I shove everything back a day and do it in, so my last mow is November, aside from the fact that then I'm kind of blowing most of the spring, and as far as any processing time, because there will be no grass to process until I cut it and pick it up in May. Getting things in November is either going to require me to be selling it early and more at a loss, because I won't have any ability to process any of the grass earlier, before December, basically. So, or, you know, because once I would start to clear the silo out in November, it would be processing the previous harvest grass, which is exactly what we're talking about now. And then I think I'd be running into a situation where I can't actually get the silo to finish before the spring, and then I'm selling stuff in March, which is going to be worse than selling it in February. That's what I don't want to have happen, and so I lose that day of flexibility. So that's my logic. That's where I'm at. Probably gonna wrap up now anyway. So you've seen what has happened. I'm gonna try to get back on real-time cycle here, so as much as possible. Again, I barely have time to do this work, let alone edit the video a little bit, but there isn't a lot of editing I do for these, so I may just go ahead and put it up pretty raw, so then you'll see it, and that'll also avoid me making the same mistake I did, because that's the only thing I can think that like messed up the clock in my head. Was I just posted a generational farming video, and so therefore days haven't passed, and then I can be thinking that way, because now at least I do have work going on the regular farm, so I should be able to pretty much keep the pipeline full as I was before. And obviously over time I'll get months ahead, as I had done before with Misty Hills, because there's just always a good amount of work, and it turns into a lot more videos per year than get published in a 12-day cycle. So that's the plan. I'm going to stop basically repeating myself over and over while I go on here. If you're still here, I thank you. Thank you for listening through all my chatting. If somehow you see it differently, I'd certainly love your feedback anyway. I mean, even though by the time I see it, it's likely going to be, I'll likely have gotten on and mowed already, but it gives me an opportunity to think about it for, say, next year, or if I want to switch the cycle. Like, maybe I'm not seeing something that makes sense to shove everything to May, August, November, versus doing April, July, October like I had last year. So thanks for spending some time here, and I'll see you next time.